From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Welcome to Northeast Current. My name is James May, and I'm the Regional Press Director for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation.
Mike Taluto, Safety Press Officer for the Department of Transportation.
Mike, we're here at the University of Scranton, where you and the safety folks from the University of Scranton were out earlier today. And I know you had a big event going on here where you were working with some of the students to enforce and to encourage safety. Tell us what you were doing here.
Oh, today we were out here trying to educate the students on using the crosswalks and to, when they're out crossing the street, to be careful of traffic.
Now, what are some of the issues that you see here with the students? I know you've been down here a number of times. This is a very busy stretch here in Scranton, and obviously an area where there's a lot of students going from one side of Mulberry Street to the other. What are some of the issues that you see with students crossing this particular road?
Well, we just see the students not paying attention and just walking right out in the traffic. So they have to use the crosswalks, and they have a crosswalk where you push the button and the crosswalk lights up.
Okay, when you see the students, is there anything in particular that when you say that they're distracted a lot of times, what are some of the distractions that you're seeing out here with the students?
Well, they're on their cell phone. That's the biggest distraction.
I imagine a lot of them on their cell phone, and probably just mentally distracted when you're late for a test and you're headed to a big quiz that you have that day in class. I assume that a lot of them are mentally distracted, but also the cell phones are one of the things that we see out here a lot as well. Is that an accurate assessment? So what were you guys doing? There was a new pamphlet that we were
we had some safety
tips.
Well, they want you to stop and look both ways before crossing.
So this is the pamphlet that you guys were giving out.
Yes.
And then I know that a number of you were here. I even saw their mascot was out here. Was he helping?
Yes.
The mascot was helping you as well. Okay. So these were the pedestrian safety tips. Sure. Just run through a couple of those. Let us know what it is that you were telling the students.
Okay. Stop and look at both ways before crossing.
Okay.
Obey traffic signs and signals. Always utilize the crosswalk signing system.
Do you see a lot of that where the students, I see that where we are here now, obviously they've put the chains in here to try to encourage the students to cross at the crosswalks. Do you still see students trying to cross at different areas?
Oh yeah, the ones that try to jaywalk out in the middle should be very careful not to do that.
Okay. What else is on the tip list there?
Do not become distracted, like we said.
Okay.
That's one of the major ones.
That's good. Yeah. What else?
And do not assume that drivers see you.
And you know, that's a good point, because I'm correct when I say that in Pennsylvania, or at least in Scranton here, that the pedestrian technically has the right-of-way. Is that
absolutely
okay? But I also say that even if you technically have the right-of-way, if you get run over and if you get hit, you know, it's tough to say from a hospital bed or from underneath the car or even from a grave that, you know, I had the right of way. So we need to make sure that we're both doing our part.
Even drivers coming down here on Mulberry Street, they need to slow down too, coming through the University of Scranton. We see some of the drivers flying right through here, and it's not even in the afternoon. It's at work certain times, like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, and when it gets dark out, some of the students are wearing black clothing. So you got to be very careful driving through here.
All of us have a responsibility, and you know, it's one thing for us as drivers, and especially when we're dealing with students. I'm the dad of 3 teenagers, well, one now who is 20, and you know, they're all about that college age or soon to be college age. And I mean, let's be honest, a lot of times the kids, we tell them this type of thing, we encourage them to do what's right, to cross at the crosswalks, to look both ways, to do all this type of thing. But, you know, many times they don't do that, and that's just the reality when we're dealing with young people. So as drivers, we do, and I think that's an important part to emphasize, we also have that responsibility that, you know, even if they do something that's wrong, if they're crossing at the wrong area, when we're driving through this area, to really make sure that we, as the older adults many times, as the drivers, are also putting our phones down, are paying attention, or slowing down, or watching any area, but this area especially where there's so many young people.
Right, especially here on Mulberry Street, and then there's also another location down on Jefferson Avenue and Linden Street too.
Okay, a lot of these areas where we know there's a lot of school children and college children, college kids that are crossing the roads, to be really careful. There's another event coming up that I know that you've been focused on here in the Scranton area and Wilkes-Barre area, and that's with the St. Patrick's Day coming up. What do we have planned for that?
Well, we know that Scranton and Wilkes-Barre are large in their St. Patrick's Day Parade coming up this Saturday. So we just want to encourage and strongly encourage that you do not drink and drive. And even walking, if you're drunk, you want to be careful. That's another issue too. To have someone walk you home, give you a ride home, just do not drink and drive and be distracted.
I was just looking at stats before we got down here, and we were saying that over the last 5 years, I think it was 226 people were killed over the St. Patrick's Day weekend by a drunk driver. And you think about that, 226 people that that didn't make it home to their families, their parents, their children, their siblings, their loved ones, and 226 families that St. Patrick's Day, just in Pennsylvania, over the last 5 years, is a time when they lost their loved ones to a drunk driver.
Well, even last year alone, 29 people died on St. Patrick's Day.
And a lot of times we focus on New Year's and those type of holidays. So just the critical importance of making sure that you don't drink and drive. There is a new app that has been made available through PennDot. It's called the Safe Ride app, and that's a great resource for people where you can download that to your iPhone or your Android system, and you can use that. And it does a number of things. But one, it will tell you your exact location. So if you need to call somebody, it will have local taxi numbers in there that you can call, and it will also, you can pre-program it to have a list of your family and friends that you can contact. So I would encourage people to make sure that you download that. You can, if you want the exact information on that, email me at jamay@pa.gov, but it's the Safe Ride app, and have it, even if you're not one who would normally drink and drive, that's a great resource to have, so that when you're out at a party, and if there is somebody, and you can go to them and say, hey, look, I can call you a taxi right here, right now, and I know our location, and it's a great resource to have. So encourage folks to download that app. A lot of things taking place, and I know that from your end, you're working on the safety aspect of stuff to make sure that we are safe on the roads. Anything else?
Oh yeah, now I have a question for you.
Okay, all right.
What about those, we get a lot of calls about the roundabouts. What about the roundabouts?
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, yeah, the roundabouts, there's another one going in Dallas. There's a new bypass going down in the Nanticoke area that will have 6 roundabouts in it. I think the one that we probably get asked about the most is the Avoca Airport roundabout. That is one that whenever people are writing to me now, I always say the roundabout at the airport is not done. It is still an active work zone. As such, there are a lot of signs down there. Anytime that you go through a regular, normal work zone, it can tend to be quite confusing sometimes and difficult to manage and difficult to navigate. It's the same thing down there. Those roundabouts are not done yet. They are not complete yet. There's still a lot of changes that are going to be made on the signage, a lot of changes made on the lanes and things, but because it's an active work zone, there are signs up that will be coming down, and there are some signs that are not up yet that will be going up, and we really think it's going to be much simpler to navigate this summer when it's all done and it's open.
My second question to you is, why are we constructing so many roundabouts in the area?
And we get that question a lot as well. There's a number of different reasons. One, roundabouts have been shown to be about 30% more efficient in the traffic flow as opposed to a traditional intersection. I always say, if you don't believe PennDot, Google Mythbusters. They did a story on this a while back where they went and actually put that to the test and found that yes, indeed, roundabouts will carry about 30% more traffic flow than a traditional intersection. So that's one of the reasons, but also there's about a 54% decrease in serious injury-related accidents. And at a traditional intersection, if you're in an accident at a traditional intersection, there's a good chance you could lose your life. If you're hit from the side, in a roundabout, if you are in an accident, usually you'll lose your mirror instead of your life. So there's about a 54% reduction in serious injury-related crashes. The ones at the airport specifically, the reasons for those are threefold. One, it is a safety project, the entire project. Well, one of the things we're doing there as part of that project is increasing the length of the on and off ramps on Interstate 81. You'll notice there's a brand new on ramp, a brand new off ramp. Those used to be very, very short, and that's a safety improvement that we're doing there at the airport area. Also, it's a traffic mitigation, and when I say that, people think that we're talking about all the traffic that's at the airport. Actually, it's just the opposite. Right now, there's a lot of traffic down on State Route 315 in the Pittston area, and that traffic is going down through DuPont and some of the smaller Avoca, the boroughs down there, going back to the industrial park. And you don't want big rigs going through residential areas. So we're building this so that the traffic can come up to the roundabouts and utilize the new access road that we're building to actually get the traffic off of 315 and get the traffic up to the airport area. And the third is economic development. Because we have this industrial park, we want to make an easy way for the trucks to get in and out there. So That is for 3 reasons: safety with the on and off ramps, for traffic mitigation to bring the traffic from 315 up to the airport and bring it in that way instead of going through DuPont, and also for economic development for the area. So we get asked that a lot. I know you do as well as I do.
A lot of questions. Now that spring is with less than 2 weeks away, it's springtime. What is construction season going to be starting up?
It will, and one of the things that we always say this time of year is that every week we send out of our office a weekly report, just letting folks know what to prepare for as we look at the summer time. You can email me directly, jamay@pa.gov, and or Michael Taluto at mtaluto@pa.gov, TALUTO@pa.gov, and in the wintertime, obviously, many times what we're dealing with is reactionary stuff where there has been an accident. Many times in the summertime, we can predict where we're going to be doing construction. So every Friday, we'll send out a weekly report that has a list of everything that is planned for that week. So if you want to get that email sent to you once a week, email me, jamay@pa.gov. A lot of things happening. I know Michael works a lot with a whole bunch of different organizations, and can always come to your school, your Boy Scout group, Girl Scout group, church group.
Senior driving is another issue.
Any of these topics, Mike can come out, we can come out together and talk to you. But on behalf of Northeast Current and Ion TV, Michael Taluto, James May, thank you so much for joining us.